Hey guys, John Lilly, Spidey Spec V here for another video. This is a thoughts video for the BC Racing coilovers and the upper and lower poly mounts that were previously installed. I took my Spec V on a road trip to Atlanta and back for work. So it was 336 miles there and 336 back, so I definitely got some time to see how it fared on the highway, driving, such like that. So here are my thoughts on it. As far as the mounts go, the car vibrates a little bit at idle. It's really not what's so bad. It's really not that bad at all whatsoever. I'm trying to see if I can convey this rattling sound you do hear. It's from the left-hand side area of the instrument cluster, which it's not annoying to me. I know it's an older car, it's gonna rattle. I'm on coilovers, so that probably doesn't help with the rattling in terms of chassis stiffness, but it is something to note. The steering wheel, when you do hold it, it does vibrate a teeny tiny bit, and the gas and brake pedals do vibrate a little bit also, because I think it's mostly because of the torque mount, probably also from the engine mount as well. So there is definitely some vibration, some increased NVH that you should know about, but it's really not that bad in my humble opinion anyways. The energy suspension bushing kit does come with smaller bushings that you can put into the mount also. I chose not to do it. I still have the stock smaller bushing for the mount. The largest bushing is the upgraded polyurethane one. I did that somewhat out of laziness, because I didn't want to go through swapping the bushings over, possibly destroying the new one trying to get it in. It was also me not knowing as to how stiff the car was going to be with all the bushings being polyurethane, so that's part of it. I might do a video later on installing the smaller bushing if I choose to go that route. I might not, but if you want to see me try to do it, I mean, I will try my best. I'm here learning also. So let's go for a drive while we discuss how the coilovers look. Let's go for a drive. So the coilovers, are they worth it? The straight to the point answer without dragging anything on is yes, 1000% worth it. I also did polyurethane lower control arm bushings. Well, bushing, it's one per control arm. Not a tragic difference, but something I did know is those of you who might already be on coilovers know, the car hops whenever you get on or off of a bridge, and sometimes it can be a very dramatic hopping. When I did the lower control arm bushing from PSB Bushings, if I can get a picture of it and put it onto the screen, I will. I can put the link for it into the description below. Still highly recommend it. When I installed the bushing, it definitely did make the clunking better. Now, it wasn't luxury car standards by any chance, but it was at least to the point where I didn't feel like I was breaking the car whenever I would get on or off of a bridge or just anything of the sort in terms of bumps. So that was an unexpected one. I should have mentioned it before, and that's my bad. As far as the coilovers go, they do clunk. So that could be from a bolt having gotten loosened a little bit, which I hope it's not, because I don't want to have to worry about the bolt, but it's a possibility. And if that does turn out to be the problem and I find it, I will definitely update you guys. And a lot of other racing owners have also stated that they do get a clunking, thumping sound after they install their BC coils. So I know it's not just a problem with my car, most likely anyways. So that is something to think about it. I think most people know that when you go coilovers, they are not going to be as smooth and quiet as the OEM. The only brand I could think of that might be as good as the OEM is K-Sport, which are very expensive. I believe K-Sport makes coils for this car. If I'm correct, I will definitely post a link for that down below and try to show a picture if possible. I say it that way because I'm still learning how to use this editing software. I'm using Splice and iMovie, I believe. So when you are driving around town going 30 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, you're really not going to notice a difference. You'll notice more NVH. You're going to notice more bumping, clunking, stuff like that. Which the clunking could just be from the fact that my car has 227,000 miles on it. If you have a spec V with around 100,000, less than 100,000, you probably shouldn't have any sort of clunking. However, when you're taking turns at 60 miles an hour though, such as getting on or off of highway on-ramps, you 100% feel the coilovers. For that reason, I highly recommend it. I do not care for lowering springs. My viewpoint on lowering springs being we have the option for iBox springs, I believe. And I want to say max speeding rods or something like that, but definitely iBox does make springs for us. I don't care for lowering springs because A, they're not that large of a ride height drop, and they are more difficult to install because you have to disassemble the strut. You have to hope that nothing becomes damaged when you disassemble said strut. And the only ride height adjustability you have is switching springs out, which I'm sorry, I'm too damn lazy to do that. I just like having the ability to take my wheels off, spin the coilover around, and adjust the ride height from there. Also, when you're installing the coilovers, try not to do what I did, where my coilovers were used. They were from New Hampshire, which means they had a lot of rust all over them. I took off the preload in an effort to spin the collars around to make sure they spun easily without any effort. That made the preload go away, so I had to call BC Racing and ask what the preload was and how to reset it. It's not that much fun. It's not a hassle, but it's an extra thing you gotta do. So if you choose to go with BC Racing coilovers or coilovers in general, do not mess with the preload unless you think you need to. I don't see why you would need to, but maybe you do hardcore tracking or something like that. The spring rate for the front is 5 to 7, I believe, and the spring rate for the rear is 7 or 8 to 10, if I remember correctly. Again, if I have a picture or a screenshot or something, I can definitely try to show that. I don't think I do, but again, I'll try. Coilovers, 100% worth it. Totally recommend it. Wish it had been one of my first mods to this car. The motor and transmission mount, which is the Ford Focus energy suspension bushings. I personally recommend them. My reason being, I also autocross this car, so I want quicker engine response, and that's mostly what the mounts will net you, since they don't move around as much, or that energy transfer is going to go to the drivetrain, which is in the front wheels. So in my particular instance, I absolutely love these mounts. I have no intention of taking them off unless it is to get them powder coated, which I might do later on this year. If you are okay with them vibration and harshness, and maybe some rattles around the car, then these mounts are right for you. If not, you can probably use window weld to fill the mounts up with. That'll stiffen them up a little bit too. But they should not be as dramatic as the polyurethane. In terms of other upcoming suspension mods, PSB, which I previously mentioned before, they are problem-solving bushings. That's what they stand for. They also make sway bar bushings for this car, which I will be doing. And they also make, I'm sorry, I blanked out for a second. They make subframe bushings for this car, which I have heard from Slow Spec V that they are make as big of a change as coilovers. He says that the car is definitely much more planted through corners and definitely feels tighter. So I definitely want that. So those will be an upcoming mod. I don't know how soon, because that involves taking out your subframe and removing the old bushings, which sounds like a hassle, but still an upcoming thing. So without any more rambling, that is it. I appreciate you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and share the videos if you have any more Century Buddies, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Peace. Something I forgot to mention right after I ended the video, so this may or may not be edited into a weird spot throughout the video or just look choppy. On the highway, the coilovers are smooth. Little bit of bumps through the road. That could also be because I have low profile tires, and low profile tires, while they do increase steering response, they also let more chassis noise and vibrations throughout the car. But the car is very smooth on the highway. Honestly, it feels very similar to my old OEM struts. That could be because the struts were kind of old, but they are very smooth overall. It's absolutely bearable for daily driving. So if that was a concern you had, then there you go. They are very smooth. They just clunk a tiny little bit. One more edit. I'm sorry. My bad. The white line bushings are 24 millimeters. The stock SER Spec V sway bar is 25. So don't try it yet until the other guys have. I don't want to give you guys bad advice. I have looked on to White Line's website in another country, and they have 25 millimeter sway bar bushings for the Nissan X-Trail, which is a very similar chassis to the Sentra. The Rogue also is on the same chassis as the Sentra, I believe. Hence why I put the PSB bushings for the Rogue into the video. So yeah, that's it.